It's time to get your news on. This broadcast is in text, audio and video and is accessed on wia.org.au.
It certainly is. It's the WIA National News for week commencing March 23, 2025, broadcasting on the Big Loop in our 30th year of non-stop news. And this week, WIA Director Giles Kirby, VK1WIA, with some timely reminders. WIA affiliated club TARC Incorporated shows off in Townsville. Now wait, there's more, much more in this edition of news from the Wireless Institute of Australia. And from our studios at 221B Baker Street, I'm VK4 Baker, Graham.
This news originates from the Wireless Institute of Australia. Born to lead since 1910.
This is WIA Director Giles Kirby, VK5 Golf Kilo, and this is the board update. Two items to update you on this week. Firstly, the WIA survey. It's been a year since the new amateur radio licence conditions came into effect, and now's your chance to have your say. The Wireless Institute of Australia wants to hear about your experience and how the transition has been for you to the new administrative process and how this has impacted your amateur radio activities. We've put together a quick 10-minute survey for all Australian radio amateurs, and the link is available on the WIA website. This is your opportunity to share your thoughts on the new class license arrangements. Have you had to present the new documents as proof of your license? How has the revised call sign allocation process affected you, especially in the Australian external and Antarctic territories? Your feedback is completely confidential, and every response helps us to advocate for improvements with the ACMA and the Department of Communication and the Arts. The survey closes April 13th, so don't miss out. Be sure to share it with your fellow amateurs, even if they're not WIA members. This is open to all Australian radio operators. And the second item, WIA Merit Awards. The WIA Merit Awards, to be awarded at the AGM held in Bendigo over the weekend of the 3rd and 4th of May this year, will close shortly. If you know someone that has made a contribution to amateur radio that you feel should be recognised with an award, then please let us know. A nomination form is available on the WIA website. This was Director Giles Kirby, 73s.
Australiana and West Australia Police have expanded its deal with Motorola Solutions to cover the introduction of automatic number plate recognition capabilities. This expanded agreement will see WA Police deploy the latest version of Motorola Solutions' PS Core mobile app, which has been deployed across the police force's entire fleet on more than 6,000 mobile devices. The APNR capability has been integrated via Apple CarPlay to make it easier to use whilst negating the need for additional equipment. Police Force Superintendent for Technology Portfolio, Dean Snassel, said the expanded capability will be able to bolster both officer and community safety. Real-time ANPR data helps to ensure that frontline officers are more aware of potential risks and able to make better decisions, he said. This latest evolution of Motorola Solutions' PS Core application helps our officers to document incidents faster and more accurately, freeing more of their time to protect our communities. The app is also helping the force better respond to incidents, including domestic and family violence, by enabling officers to record incidents from the field and automatically alert partner agencies and support services.
From here, there and everywhere, you tune to the Wireless Institute of Australia's national news service. We are VK1WIA. Now with international news, Jason, VK2LAW.
Hello. Leading international news this week, 2025 Hamvention Awards. The Technical Achievement Award to Dr. Christina Collins, Kilo Delta 8 Oscar X-Ray Tango, who serves as the Chief Operations Scientist for the Hamsai Personal Space Weather Station Network. Special Achievement Award to Julio Ripoll, Whiskey Delta 4 Romeo. Julio received his first amateur radio licence in 1977. In 1980, Dr. Neil Frank, then director of the National Hurricane Centre NHC, requested an amateur radio station within the NHC to facilitate communication with the Caribbean during hurricanes. Julio's initial 2-year assignment with the NHC has since extended to 45 years, covering 100 hurricanes. Amateur of the Year, Neil Rapp, Whiskey Bravo 9, Victor Papa Golf. Neil earned his novice ticket at the remarkable age of 5, making him one of the youngest licensed amateur radio operators ever. Currently a visiting professor of chemistry at Xavier University, Neil has a rich history in education. In 2019, Neil co-founded and became the camp director of Youth on the Air, IOTA Americas, which connects young amateurs with peers through activities that encourage their continued involvement in amateur radio. Neil's contributions to the amateur radio community extend further, including being a reporter and anchor for Amateur Radio Newsline. In the US, the entire 6 GHz band will be opened up to a greater operation of unlicensed VLP, or very low power devices, under an FCC final rule that takes effect on May 5th. The band, which comprises of frequencies between 5.925 and 7.125 GHz, is used by mobile service, fixed service and fixed satellite services across 4 sub-bands. VLPs, which include wearable devices, augmented reality devices and healthcare monitors, typically have an integrated antenna and cover short distances. This latest action by the Commission provides greater spectrum for various portable devices operating with the same power levels and operational requirements as other VLP devices. FCC Chairman Brendan Carr has announced that the agency has launched a massive new deregulatory initiative. Specifically, the FCC has opened a new docket titled INRI Delete Delete Delete, in which the agency seeks comment on every rule, regulation, or guidance document that the FCC should eliminate for the purpose of alleviating unnecessary regulatory burdens. This action follows the Trump administration decision to usher in prosperity through deregulation. Still on the Hill, we hear that US President Donald Trump has signed an order to strip back the federally funded news organisation Voice of America, accusing it of being anti-Trump and radical. A White House statement said that the order would ensure taxpayers are no longer on the hook for radical propaganda, and included quotes from politicians and right-wing media railing against the leftist partisan VOA. VOA, still primarily a radio service, was set up during World War II to counter Nazi propaganda. It's used by hundreds of millions of people around the world. Mike Abramowitz, VOA's director, said he and virtually his entire staff of 1,300 people had been put on paid leave. SpaceX secured permission March 7 to provide direct-to-smartphone satellite services at higher power levels to improve connectivity between the reach of cell towers across the United States. The US Federal Communications Commission said it's allowing SpaceX to emit more power into spectrum bands adjacent to its partner T-Mobile's frequencies, provided it does not interfere with other networks following concerns from rival telcos. Companies such as Verizon and AT&T, which have partnered with direct-to-smartphone startup AST Space Mobile, warned that increased emissions could degrade the performance of terrestrial mobile networks in the United States and create interference risks. Read more at the link in the text edition of this week's WIA National News. On March 11, the amateur radio community in Bangladesh came together for a memorable ham gathering. This event, organised by the Bangladesh DX Club, aimed to bridge the gaps created over time and bring hams from all across the country under one roof to share a meal, camaraderie, and discussions on the future of amateur radio in Bangladesh. The event saw an overwhelming response, with around 135 operators and guests attending from various districts. Some notable attendees included Sierra 21 Lima, Sierra 21 Mike Bravo, Sierra 21 Alpha Mike, and Sierra 21 Romeo Charlie, and many others. Their presence and enthusiasm truly made the evening special. Operators from different corners of the country travelled long distances to be a part of this gathering, reinforcing the spirit of the amateur radio community. Hello, Moon to Earth? Anybody home? Pick up now. Finally, if you've ever waited for a phone call that just never came, you might appreciate my final story this week thanks to Newsline, especially if your caller happened to be on the Moon. That much-awaited wireless call from the Moon to the Earth will just have to be put on hold for now. Nokia's 4G LTE network was expected to be put through its paces from the south pole of the lunar surface following the March 6th landing of the Athena lander. Athena arrived with Nokia's network in a box or NIB on board, like its predecessor lander, also built by Intuitive Machines. The lander tipped over upon arrival and, with its solar panels blocked from receiving the necessary recharge from the sun, the mission was quickly declared over. Undaunted, Nokia pointed out that the company did successfully deliver the Moon's first cellular network and powered it up for 25 minutes to transmit data and receive commands from the Earth. Hopes were high, though, that there would be more to report. After all, this mission was supposed to help facilitate communications in 2027 aboard Artemis 3. That mission is to be NASA's first human spaceflight to the Moon since 1972, and astronauts are expected to be wearing spacesuits that have integrated 4G LTE capabilities, courtesy of Nokia and Axiom Space. Of course, that's still 2 years away, so until then, hold all calls, please. The fight to keep AM radio as a mandatory service in new cars, including electric vehicles, is alive and well in New York City. One historic AM station in Manhattan has taken matters into its own hands to advocate for the senior band. A full-page advertisement by 77 WABC Radio was run in the New York Post, urging consumers to only buy cars that come equipped with AM radio. The ad touts AM's importance, stating that FEMA relies on the service to reach 95% of Americans during emergency situations. A well-known argument in favour of the proposed AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act. Speaking to car manufacturers that have plans to drop AM as a service, it explicitly says don't support companies that don't care about your safety in a time of need. You should know the companies that don't put you and your loved ones' safety first. For WIA National News, in Sydney, I'm Jason, VK2LAW.
We are VK1WIA. Now, operational news with VK4FUQ. Felix.
Hello there. We are pleased to announce that the results for the 2024 79th Annual Oceania DX Contest have been released. You can see the results news on the link in this week's text edition of this WIA National News. Now, Contest-wise 2025. The IAA 100th Anniversary Centennial QSO Party. The IAAU CQP will be held for 9 days, beginning Saturday 12 April and ending Sunday 20 April. This event will celebrate 100 years of the IAAU. Each Tuesday evening in April sees the ZL2 GBA Memorial Sprints on 80 metres, 30 minutes CW, SSB and FT4. Take part in any or all segments. Exchange is your outside temperature. Harry Angel Memorial 80-metre Sprint, Saturday, May 3. May 17 and 18 is the Sangster Shield. QRP CW on 80 metres, wind back the rig to give 5 watts and give it a go. VK Shires Contest, 7th and 8th June. Now, DX window to the world. Radio amateurs in Scotland have been on the air throughout March using special call sign GB1 KBR. This to celebrate the start of the official handover of the Commonwealth Games, King's Baton, by His Royal Highness King Charles III, at Buckingham Palace for the Glasgow 2026 Commonwealth Games. Activity has been added on HF, SSB, CW and digital modes. QSL via Logbook of the World, EQSL and QRZ.com. Polio On The Air 2025, CQ-SALK. In celebration of the 70th anniversary of April 12, 1955, US approval of the Salk polio vaccine. Narwhal Amateur Radio Society is running a Polio On The Air event from April 5 to 19. They will be calling CQ Salk on all fashionable protocols. Special event stations W7P, W7O, W7L, W7I, and W0O are the ones to listen out for and work throughout the 5th to the 19th April period. Make contact with one, get a QSL card. Make contact with all 5, get 5 QSL cards. And something really neat happens if you collect all 5, we are told. The DARC special event call sign DA25WIRD is active until the 27th of April, in recognition of World Amateur Radio Day. Hams around the world celebrate April 18, the day of the founding of the International Amateur Radio Union, back in 1925. See QRZ.com for QSL details. Bletchley Park will be hosting one of its infamous 1940s weekends in May to commemorate the 80th anniversary of VE Day. In tribute to the event, the RSGB National Radio Centre will be operating special event station GB2 BP from the 3rd to the 5th of May. Put the date in your diary and make sure you get this call sign in your logbook. Finally, in this week's operational news, net advice. SA Maritime Net. Worth a listen when propagation is in is the South African Maritime Mobile Net, which provides weather reports and maintains contact with sailing vessels from around their coastline and the high seas. The net operates 7 days a week. 0630 hours UTC and 1130 hours UTC on 14316 kHz high seas net. 0635 UTC and 1135 UTC on 7120 kHz coastal net. From Ingham in North Queensland, where it's still raining, I'm Felix VK for a FUQ with WIA National News.
From here, there and everywhere, you've tuned to the Wireless Institute of Australia's National News Service. We are VK1WIA. Now, special interest group news with Bruce, VK3FFF.
And a very good day to you. Worldwide Special Interest Groups, ARDF. IARU Region 3 ARDF Workshop. Ken Yamamoto, JA1CJP, Secretary of our IARU Region 3, reminds us all of an amateur radio direction finders workshop. Today, Sunday, March 23rd. It happens at 600 UTC. Radio amateurs who are wanting to participate should register on the website shown in the text edition of this week's WIA National News, best read at wia.org.au. Worldwide Special Interest Groups, Astronomy and Wireless Weather. Solar Max. Is a second peak coming? Last October, NOAA and NASA announced that Solar Max had arrived. Only half the sun got the memo. The majority of solar activity has been happening in just one of the sun's hemispheres, the south. The solar superstorm of May 10th, 2024, for instance, was caused by a monster southern sunspot. It makes you wonder, is the other half of the solar max still coming? For forecasters of the solar cycle, this raises an interesting possibility. Maybe the northern peak is still coming. Indeed, there were signs in February 2025 that the pendulum is swinging. This current month, March, sunspots have been more evenly distributed between the two hemispheres, a sign that activity may be shifting north. This discussion focuses attention on the north-south balance of sunspots. A northern shift in the months ahead could herald a second peak and another year or two of excellent auroras before Solar Cycle 25 finally peters out. Worldwide Special Interest Groups, Final Frontier. Sonata 2 is a small satellite from Julius Maximilians University in Würzburg, Germany, which was founded in 1402 and is one of the oldest institutions of higher learning in Germany. It reached even higher when Sonata 2 was launched into space. A team led by Hakan Kayal, head of the Professorship for Space Technology, spent 3 years developing and building the satellite, which is about the size of a shoebox. Shortly after the satellite was launched over Madagascar, the first contact was made at the Mission Control Centre on campus. One aim of the Würzburg space mission was to demonstrate that it is possible to train an AI autonomously on board the satellite. Sonata 2 was to learn to independently recognise and photograph anomalies on the Earth's surface, an important step towards increased autonomy for small satellites. In addition to the primary AI payload, there are 3 other payloads on Sonata 2 that have also been successfully tested, including an amateur radio payload that offers 2 amateur radio services to we radio amateurs worldwide. Key frequencies are CW beacon at 145.840 MHz, APRS Digipeater at 145.825 MHz and Slow Scan TV at 145.880 MHz. NASA's SpaceX and Punch missions were launched together on March the 11th. SpaceX stands for Spectrophotometer for the History of the Universe, Epoch of Reionization and ICE's Explorer. It will collect data on more than 450 million galaxies, along with more than 100 million stars in the Milky Way, in order to explore the origins of the universe, contributing to NASA Science's key goals to discover the secrets of the universe and search for life elsewhere. Along for the ride was the second mission, Punch, Polarimeter to unify the corona and heliosphere, a mission consisting of 4 satellites operating in concert. These small sats will observe the sun's corona as it transitions into the solar wind, supporting NASA Science's key goals by creating a broad awareness and understanding of how the sun creates conditions that influence Earth and space, which is increasingly part of the human domain. Worldwide Special Interest Groups, IOTA, Pierre VE3KTB, is using the call sign VY0ERC from the Eureka Amateur Radio Club station on Ellesmere Island, IOTA number NA008, until the 2nd of April. He is operating CW, SSB and FT8 on various bands. And members of the EIDX group are using the call sign 6Y7EI from Jamaica, IOTA number NA097, only until the 24th of March. Listen for them on 160 to 6 metres, where they will be operating using all modes, QSL via M0OXO. And Adrian, HJ4ADR, is operating holiday style through to the 26th of March using the call sign HJ4ADR/0. He is operating from Providencia Island, IOTA number NA049, on 40 and 10 metres using SSB and FT8. Worldwide Special Interest Groups, Rescue Radio. TARC did the 2025 Defence Welcome to Townsville Expo. Joining you now is Gavin, VK4 Zulu Zulu.
Well, good day, Newshounds. The 1st of March, the birthday of both the Australian Army and the Royal Australian Navy, saw the running of the Defence Welcome to Townsville Expo, organised by the Directorate of Regional Engagement, Defence Member and Family Support, Joint Support Services Division, Military Personnel Organisation, Department of Defence. The Welcome Expos are held in communities where Defence members are stationed and have been held in Townsville for many years. The Townsville Amateur Radio Club Inc. has participated in many of the expos under the leadership of Royal Australian Navy veteran Ian Morrison, VK4 India Golf Mike, to fly the amateur radio flag in the defence community. The TARC Inc. was there in strength with battery-operated audio-visual display, a working HF, VHF and UHF transceiver, a HF loop antenna on tri-powered, a hands-on send your name and Morse code setup, a live demonstration of Kiwi SDR remote-controlled receiver, pamphlets and giveaway copies of Amateur Radio Magazine and the Magazine of Renown, Backscatter. Ian VK1WIA Golf Mike thanks everyone who assisted with the expo display and hopes for a good roll-up for the early 2026 event. With that, this is Gavin VK4 Zulu Zulu from the hot and steamy north.
Thanks, Gavin. Worldwide Special Interest Groups, Military. W4LX contact, over. Fort Myers Amateur Radio Club, FMARC, honoured World War II heroes at Buckingham Field, Florida from March 18th to 20th with a special live radio event using call sign W4LX. W4LX operated daily on 28.360, 21.360, 14.270 and 147.345 MHz. Special certificates were made available and guests attending watched and listened as operators made contacts to honour the men and women who trained at the base. Established in 1942 and originally known as Buckingham Army Airfield, it was a significant military training base during World War II. The base played a crucial role in training aerial gunners who served on bombers like the B-17 Flying Fortress and the B-24 Liberator. At its peak, the airfield had thousands of personnel, multiple runways and extensive facilities, including barracks, mess halls and training ranges. Worldwide Special Interest Groups, Radio Amateur Young Timers, IOTA, Youngsters on the Air. If you're wondering just who the WIA Committee for IOTA is, it is Steve, VK6SJ, Pete, VK2LP, and Alec, VK2MV, who now joins us.
Thank you, Bruce. You may remember last year we told you about the new special youth plaques available to encourage participation by the under 25-year-olds in the Oceania contest. Well, results are in, but there was no eligible entry for the Australian Youth Phone plaque in 2024. The same happened for the Oceania Phone Youth Multi-Operator and Ocean CW Youth Multi-Operator plaques. There were no eligible entries received for either of them. From outside Oceania, the winner of the World Youth Phone section is Grigory Ankin at station RL3A. The North American Phone Youth plaque winner is Max Friedman N4ML. And speaking of contesting, now to the IOTA contest for 2025. Organised by the IARU Region 1 Youth Working Group, in cooperation with the Hungarian Amateur Radio Society, the aim of the IOTA contest is to increase youngsters' activity on the air, strengthen the reputation of the IOTA program, and demonstrate support for youngsters across the world. The next two sessions of this year's IOTA contest will be held on the 19th of July and the 29th of December. Hope to hear IOTAs, including VK IOTAs, taking part in this contest. For VK1WIA National News, I'm Alec, VK2MV in Sydney. Now back to you, Bruce.
Thanks, Alec. I'm Bruce, VK3FFF in sunny Bendigo.
It's a date. It's the social scene, and clubs are welcome to email text with audio for this section. Details of all WIA affiliated clubs and societies can be found on the WIA website, wia.org.au, and that includes email addresses as well as the website links. VK4, Redcliffe and District Radio Club Redfest, April 12 at Deception Bay North State School. The WIA AGM, May 3 to 4, hosted by Bendigo Amateur Radio and Electronics Club and their Technology Expo. In VK2, Solitary Islands Beach, Parkfest for POTA, May 3 and 4. VK3, Moorabbin and District's Amateur Radio Club's Hamfest, 10 a.m, May 10. To VK2, it's the Oxley Region Amateur Radio Club's 49th annual Field Day weekend at the Warhope Showground, June 7 and 8. VK5, SERG Convention and Fox Hunting Championships, June 7 and 8 at Scout Hall in Mount Gambier. Australian Ladies Amateur Radio Association's 50th anniversary, to be held at Glen Waverley, July 26. VK5 and AREG's Amateur Radio and Electronics Sale, Sunday, October 26 at David Roche Park, Kilbourne. VK4 Gold Coast Amateur Radio Society, the 2025 Hamfest, November 9, Country Paradise Parklands, 231 Beaudesert Nerang Road. VK3 Rosebud Radio Fest, Eastbourne Primary School Rosebud, November 16. And in VK8, Darwin Amateur Radio Club's Dark Christmas Party, 6:30pm, December 3. And with that, until next we meet, deactivating the big loop, I'm Graham, VK4BB. Walk softly.
This has been the Wireless Institute of Australia with the weekly news service. This broadcast is in text, audio and video and is accessed on wia.org.au.
Courtesy of Bevan, VK5BD's ATV and YouTube channel, this has been WIA National News. We're back now, live and local, and your voice, your callbacks. And don't forget, tick like.